Then, a giant walking lands like my whole life I've been here to attack sin. My body is my temple, keep it cleansed. My energy is soar from the herbal medicines deep within. My agriculture's based on the time that I spend as the 13th tribe. Return to strive once again like the sun in the sky. Blessing that's now, that's what you call woke hip hop. Now, that's from a rap group called Mood. And the album is from an album called Doom. The word doom is mood spells backwards. Get it? Yeah, that's really woke. This was a rap group based out of Cincinnati. DJ High Tech at the time was part of this group. You know what I'm saying? Produced the beats. And Talib Kweli was affiliated with this group. He wasn't a member, but he did a lot of cameos with this. This album came out in '97, and me being the hip hop head I was, I went out and copped it. So that's when Talib Kweli went on a solo venture. I started doing songs with Mos Def. I thought Talib Kweli was from Cincinnati because Mood is a Cincinnati-based group. We know DJ High Tech is from Cincinnati. And the funny thing is, it was like Talib Kweli stole Mood's producer. He stole DJ High Tech because they formed their own group, Reflection Eternal. But yeah, now I said that to say this. I was watching Drewski's video about how woke black people act or something like that, you know, and he had kind of like these sort of black guys in the video. He was smoking weed on a tree stump, and they was listening to them like an humble beat or whatever, and freestyling, you know what I'm saying, and what I get from it seems like these guys try to be smarter than they actually are, using words or phrases or concepts that they themselves don't quite understand. But in Drewski's skit, he never like I was waiting for a twist, like, hey, these guys talk all this, but they got 5 baby mothers, or they're selling dope, or they're tricking on pussy like everybody else. No, but also what I got from Drewski's skit is that the conscious blacks, the woke blacks, our definition of woke, they seem sort of stagnant. You know what I'm saying? They just talk all this stuff, but they don't get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? They're sort of broke, dusty, and they're not really making moves. They rather just sit around in the cipher and use words like metamorphosis and metabolics and so forth. So that's what I get. And that's kind of like the how a lot of people view woke conscious crowd from back in the day. See, now woke is different. White people took that word, and that word woke, it really only applies to white people. It's supposed to apply to white people that want to see things from a black perspective. You know, America's about hegemony, you know, conquering, stealing land and so forth, and, you know, and promoting gays. Now, in our version of woke, we looked at Hollywood in general as being gays, that it's controlled by gays and they're going to turn you out if you want to be a Hollywood star. That was our perspective. They look at it as like, oh, they're hiring gay actors, or they're doing race swaps and stuff like that. Oh, they're woke, or whatever. Because woke to them means, oh, you're trying to change things. But I don't understand how can you make being woke a bad thing? I'm like, oh, you're woke. It's like Neo in the Matrix. You're woke. But also, when I analyze it, going back into the late 90s, the Conscious Brothers, the Third Eye, the dudes walking around with their backpacks on, like using public transit and be like, fuck having a car. Now, when I see some of you know, like how they dressed and so forth, and the dreadlocks, it's like now the young savages sort of have the same appearance that the Third Eye Vision guys back in the late 90s. Hence, You know, these kids nowadays, what we consider savages, you know, got dreadlocks. They're known to dress abnormally hot for the summer. 90 degrees out, they're wearing Nike Tech. You know, they're wearing a Pooh Shiesty mask, a black hoodie, black pants, and so forth. And that's supposed to be symbolic. Like, if something goes down, I'm a ninja, you know, and so forth. And I think about back in the 90s. See, back in the days, in the 90s, dudes didn't have dreadlocks, especially in the Midwest and the South. When you see a dude with dreadlocks, you assume they're from the island somewhere or they're from the East Coast. You know, dudes didn't have dreadlocks. They didn't have dreadlocks. You know, back in the days, like the average black person in the Midwest or down south, they assumed there's even a rapper who even said that, like, he was a rapper out of Atlanta in the 90s who had dreadlocks, and people will say that, oh, he's trying to be like New York or New Jersey and so forth. You know, but back in the days, if you're in a place like Indianapolis and you've seen, like in the 90s, seen some dude, it's hot out, he has the dreadlocks on, he has a freaking black hoodie on and rocking Timberland boots and camouflage, you're going to be like, oh, that's one of them conscious dudes. That's one of them granola bar eaters. Walk around with spring water in their backpack. But like that Drewski skit, these dudes, for the most part, are passive. You know what I'm saying? They're harmless. They're not confrontational or start trouble or whatever, have that ghetto attitude. They just want to be like, man, manifest this, manifests all this esoteric blue triangle, water triangle, you know, robotic dinosaurs, and you know, and shit like that, and try to build off the math off anything. You know, they'll walk in a store and see a Superman comic and then go into a whole spiel of breaking down Superman and what Superman means. Superman really represents the black man, but he must be white to be accepted in our society. You know, shit like that. And it's just funny how things twist it. But it was kind of like the big Willie dudes, the baller dudes, the dudes that have the car, the Yukons with the rims. They're known to get the ball rolling. You know, club promoters and so forth. That they got the money, they got the females and so forth. They're making moves. They make shit popping. You know, while the conscious dudes or whatever and all they're talking about, they just seem to be just want everybody to eat seaweed or sea moss. They talk about how great sea moss is. You can wash yourself with sea moss. You can eat sea moss or whatever. It's like a miracle thing. Sea moss will restore your hair. Yeah, the conscious committee, they was real big on sea moss. Like it's the fucking wonder drug. Like it can fucking cure alcoholism and so forth. You know what I'm saying? If you got a dope addiction, yeah, sea moss will take care of that. But like I said before, these guys, because I'd hang with these guys. These guys, I didn't actually dress like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing no fucking black hoodie and black jeans and freaking 90-degree weather and shit like that. But yeah, these guys, for the most part, yeah, they was passive. They wasn't, and they're a type of, you know, and then they hang out at poetry spots. And they're the type of people that we forget about. We forget that they exist. They're like, and we put all our information on, you know, the so-called hood builders, you know what I'm saying, both men and female and so forth. They're the ones that just go super viral and all this other shit. Well, back then social media didn't exist, but I seriously thought them CMOS brothers would go viral. And even still, there used to be like more so these underground hip-hop clubs that'll play Jeru the Jamager and Afu. You know, half the people in there will be white. They'll be small, but it'll be all love. You know what I'm saying? You have the backpackers coming in, you know what I'm saying, with their spring water. They ain't buying water from the bar. And it'll be love. You know, dudes ain't really spending money like that. But you go to the Big Willie Club where the ballers and the players, which I got nothing against them, you know what I'm saying, because I'll take them over the crazy young savages. They're the ones who get things popping. Club promotions, putting up clubs with all the hot females. You got to pay for VIP parking and stuff like that. But the Big Willie dudes got the ball rolling. But the problem is, there was so much violence associated with them. Going them big Willie clubs that's gonna play the top 40 Jay-Z hits and Foxy Brown and Master P top 40 hits. A lot of people get shot in them clubs. Women, you know what I'm saying? Women got pills in they drink. People selling drugs in the bathroom and so forth. And yeah, and even though these clubs try to establish a dress code, a strict dress code, you know what I'm saying, sometimes don't even let people wear their hats, even if they got the pimp hats on, unless you're somebody. Then they're like, yeah, you can wear your hat. If you're a basketball player, just dress down, yeah, you can come in with your sneakers on. And there still be violence. They gotta close these clubs down, shoot, they selling drugs in the back and so forth. But the underground hip hop spots that cater to the CMOS guys, yeah, man, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? There's not an incident of violence, of guns and shit like that. It's just, you know what I'm saying, sometimes you got a low crowd turnout. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching. Never stop learning.